All right, let's hit the field.
All right.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Today is Saturday, August 3rd, and the baseball was flying at Yankee Stadium as the Yanks were trying to bounce back from a tough loss on Friday night. Carlos Rodon on the mound trying to get the Yankees back on track. My recap, your reactions, coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
New York City.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back, kid.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Summer day in the Bronx, which means the ball was traveling. Today was the day of the two-run home run. Yankees get home runs from Judge, from Grisham, and from the suddenly red-hot Anthony Volpe. Another solid outing from Carlos Rodon. His stuff was really good. We'll talk about him in a minute. I feel like he should still be getting deeper into the game, but you can't really complain about the performance today. The stuff was terrific. Austin Wells continues to swing the bat very well. He had a multi-hit game. Anthony Volpe, another multi-hit game. Yankees have even the series at one game apiece, and the winner of tomorrow will not only decide this series, but the season series. We got the first hit from Jazz Chisholm in Yankee pinstripes, good relief outing from Luke Weaver, and a nice bounce-back win. And for the moment, the Yankees are in sole possession of first place by a half game. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings as they lead the Orioles by a half game. Yankees 66-46, Orioles 65-46. And you can see the Yankees have scored more runs than the Orioles. They've allowed less runs than the Orioles. They have a better differential. So you really can't complain about what this Yankees team has done as they fight for a very, very tough division title. Let's talk a little bit about Carlos Rodon today because he's had a couple of good starts in a row. Today I thought he threw the ball pretty well. I thought he threw the ball better than the numbers would indicate. He went 5 1/3, gave up 3 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. 106 pitches. Ideally, you'd like him to be a bit more efficient, get into the 6th or deeper into the 6th or maybe even the 7th once in a while. But he gave up a home run to Vladdy Jr. in the first inning, and then I thought he settled down, and he showed me something. So a very nice start for Carlos Rodon. In terms of sheer stuff, the fastball topped out at 99.6 miles an hour. He was 98 plus all day long. He had 17 swings and misses. And the top of the 6th inning, Boone came out to get him, and he talked his way into staying in the game. He proceeded, though, to allow a double, and that was the end of the day for him. Both runners came around to score, which is not ideal. So it makes the line look worse. But you see the numbers on the season there, 23 starts, 4.37 ERA, 125 and 2/3 innings pitched, 137 strikeouts and 38 walks. So almost 100 more strikeouts than walks. I remember one year Curt Schilling had 300 more strikeouts than walks. That was ridiculous. WHIP is reasonable at 1.21. He has allowed too many home runs. He's allowed 24 home runs on the season. But today, he pitched well enough to win, and he is now 12-7 on the season. And if you think about it, he's got a chance to win really, 16 or 17 games if he can keep pitching well, maybe get the ERA under 4. And I think we would have all signed up for that season. So I can tell already from the chat, we're going to have a controversial belt pick today. It's kind of a dead heat between Volpe and Aaron Judge, but I know who wins. All right, let's talk a little bit about hustle, because last night the big story, and on into this morning really, was Gleyber Torres being removed from the game for failing to run out of the box on a smash off the left field wall. He stood there and watched it like it was a home run. It ended up staying in the ballpark, and because of that, he failed to score the tying run when Volpe ripped one into the corner. Today, we saw the polar opposite of that, and I just wanted to use this example for maybe some of the kids who are watching and are playing ball, and why it's so important to hustle on every play. So let me set the stage. Bottom 2, Yankees lead 2-1. Ben Rice hits a routine ground ball to second base. Nice, big, easy Sunday hop to the second baseman. 90% of runners or hitters in the major leagues are probably jogging at that point. But because Ben Rice was hustling all the way, he was running his tail off, he was able to reach first base when the second baseman, Horwitz, messed it up, screwed up the play, made an error. So that allowed him to reach base, and then the next batter was Trent Grisham, who smoked a 2-run home run. So because Ben Rice was busting his tail, the Yankees got 2 runs instead of 1. And that's the opposite of last night, where the lack of hustle cost us a run. Today, hustle got us a run. And that's why it's important. That's why they say hustle on every play. Hustle until you're called out. You make enough money that you can do it. I promise. I mean, if you're down 15-1 and you hit a ground ball to second base, or you jog, 3/4 of the way to first base, a lot of people are going to let you slide. Jeter wouldn't do that. Jeter would bust it no matter the score. But when you're in a close game, especially like the Yankees were last night and like the Yankees were today, hustling can really make a difference in the game. Who knows what happens if the Yankees score last night and that inning gets extended? Maybe somebody pops a 2 or 3 run home run and you win the game. So I hope that Gleyber Torres has learned from last night. It had to be embarrassing, but he was accountable. He came out, he spoke to the media, and all he needs to do is play hard for a couple of months, finish the season strong, and have a good playoffs, and he can still get a decent contract somewhere. Hopefully somewhere with less scrutiny than New York. So let's talk a little bit about the MVP chase. We had another good day from Aaron Judge, and I was talking to Frankie Baseball, who does a lot of our breakout clips. He does the highlights, stuff behind the scenes, out of context, all that stuff. Big part of our team. And he said to me, if Judge stays healthy, he's got the MVP locked up. And I thought, this might be a good day to actually look at the MVP race as it stands, because there's 50 games to go. So here's the stats for the 3 main contenders, in my opinion. Judge has a clear lead in power numbers. He leads Henderson in home runs by 13. His average is 321. Hang on, get a sip of water. 103 RBIs already this season. Witt Jr., you can see he's hitting 348. He basically hit 500 in July, 489. Got good power, too. You got 2 guys with a WAR over 7. Now, the B WAR, which is Baseball Reference, or F WAR, which is Fangraphs, is slightly different. I go with B WAR on Baseball Reference because, quite frankly, the interface is quicker to find it. But you can pick either one. I think these 3 guys are going to be the top 3. Obviously, it also depends on, the final standings. If the Orioles are able to run away with it, maybe that gives Gunnar Henderson some more votes. If the Royals are able to catch or pass the Guardians, maybe Witt Jr. wins. But right now you have to consider Aaron Judge the favorite. He's up in pretty much every category. He's second in average behind Witt of these 3. He's got way more home runs, way more RBIs, much higher on base percentage. The OPS is over 1.15. It's insane. 5 stolen bases. He's not known as a speed demon. Witt Jr.'s got 25 already. And 7.6 B WAR for Judge, as opposed to 7.2 for Witt and 6.5 for Henderson. But either way, just a lot of great talent in the American League right now. And Judge's on-base percentage of over 450 is insane. He continues to walk. He walked a couple of more times today. He got the Bonds treatment. He got walked with nobody on base. So, there's a lot to like about what you're seeing from Judge right now. We wondered if the toe would be an issue after last year's injury where he ran into the wall. He said it was basically a chronic condition that was going to need to be managed for his entire career. But, now we are a year later, and he's having another historic season, so I think it's fair to say that it doesn't hamper him too much. I think he wears a special orthotic to, keep from putting too much pressure on that toe. But nice game for Aaron Judge once again. All right, let's get to the recap. Chat's filling up.
Let's get it going.
You guys get on with your Saturday. So the Blue Jays did get on the board first with the home run from Vladdy Jr., but the Yankees answered right back. Of course, Juan Soto getting on base, and then Mr. Aaron Judge, the captain.
It's another home run for Judge. All right. Here comes the Judge.
2-run shot, 41st home run of the season. 16th first inning home run of the season, and already 103 RBIs on the season. Yankees got 2 more in the second inning. I mentioned the hustle by Ben Rice, which led to the big swing from Mr. Trent Grisham.
There it goes. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
He's got a beautiful home run stroke. He doesn't even finish his swing. It's interesting. 2-run shot instead of a solo shot. His 7th home run of the season, and he's very quietly put together a solid year. Despite the low batting average, he's had a number of big hits, plays great defense, made another nice catch today on a ball that he kind of misjudged coming in on. He caught himself real quick, went back, and ended up running it down. So nice play. Yankees tacked on another 2-run shot in the bottom of the 5th. Anthony Volpe, who's hitting over 360 since the All-Star break, appears to have found his power stroke.
Turning, looking, see ya. Home run for Volpe. Hit him in the stands, they can't catch him.
Anthony Volpe, a spectacular OG.
Hanger on the inside part of the plate, and that's where hangers go. About 15 rows deep into the left field seats. 5th home run in the last 11 games. 11th home run of the season for Mr. Volpe. Whatever adjustments he made over the All-Star break, he needs to stick with it because he looks terrific right now. Rodon was done after 1 out in the 6th inning. You like him to get a little bit deeper into the game, like I said, but the type of pitcher that he is, it causes him to use a lot of pitches. A lot of foul balls, a lot of deep counts, a lot of strikeouts. But final line, 5 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. I thought he pitched better than those numbers, but a nice job from Carlos Rodon. Yankees tacked on another run in the second hit of the day from Anthony Volpe, 3rd RBI of the day, and Volpe just continues to heat up. This one put his average back up over 260 on the season. He's at 261, 11 home runs, 44 RBIs, 3.1 WAR, 718 OPS. So a really solid year for a guy that we also know is a fantastic defender. Might win another Gold Glove this year. We'll see. It's going to be tough. As we mentioned, there's a lot of competition. Witt and Henderson, both excellent defenders as well. But Volpe having a very good second year in the major leagues. We had Mark Leiter come in for the 9th inning, and he loaded the bases. Clay Holmes actually had to come in with 2 outs, but he managed to slam the door, and the Yankees get back in the win column.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win. You're a winner.
All right. Sawbelly says he loves the way Grisham just puts his head down and runs the bases when he homers. Judge does the same thing, and he hits them as far as anybody. Some guys like to pimp their home runs. I don't mind it. I like it. It's fun. But, when you do it and it doesn't go out of the ballpark, as we saw last night, not a great look. So we're going to have a little bit of a controversial belt selection today. I went with the guy with the most RBIs, Mr. Anthony Volpe. I know a lot of you want to Judge. He'll have plenty of opportunities, but Volpe hasn't won one in a while. And the way he's been swinging the bat, the tack-on run, the big 2-run homer, I just felt like it was a good day to reward this young man for the adjustments that he's made since the All-Star break that have led to, like I said, a batting average over 360 since the All-Star break. So a nice job from Mr. Anthony Volpe. Let's take a few comments here.
Hey, what do you say?
Wayne Wilcox says, I'm done with Verdugo leading off. Second at bat, he swung at a 3-0 pitch with nobody out. Can't do that with Soto and Judge coming up. You're not wrong. He's got to do it better. If he's in the leadoff spot, you got to take your walks, right? 3-0, really, you're definitely taking in the leadoff spot. I mean, unless they throw you a cookie, but most of the time you're taking. And a lot of guys in the leadoff spot will even take 2 pitches. Let's see you throw 2 strikes after going down 3-0. And I wouldn't blame him if he did that. But, 0 for 5 today, hitting .233. Hopefully the Martian is heating up at AAA. We might see him sooner rather than later if he gets hot. We'll see. I want to talk about the bullpen a little bit today. Cousins continues to be impressive. Weaver, 3 strikeouts. He's got a 2.92 ERA. Tommy Kahnle with a scoreless inning. Mark Leiter Jr. got 2 outs, gave up 3 hits, so not an ideal outing for him. And Clay Holmes slammed the door. He's got 2.80 ERA. He gets the save because the bases were loaded. So Jordan Goat 1 says, would you put Jazz at leadoff? We talked a little bit about this last night when I had Terrence on. I don't think Jazz is perfect for the leadoff spot. I really don't. He's got some pop, but he's not a high on-base percentage guy. He strikes out a lot, doesn't walk a ton. He's a .250 hitter. He's got a .755 OPS, so I want a little bit of that power in the lower half of the lineup. I want him protecting guys like Torres or Stanton or, whoever's sitting in the number 5. I like him in like the number 6, maybe the number 7 spot. A little bit of a threat in the lower half of the order. And I like him at third base so far. He's looked really good over there. But Frankie Baseball says that Soto should be top 3 for MVP. He's having a really great year, too. He's got a higher OPS than both Henderson and Witt. But if you're not the most valuable player on your own team, how can you be the MVP in the league? And I think a lot of people would say that, Judge has been more valuable. Although Soto's having a monster year. He's now exactly 400 at bats in. He's hitting .308. He's got 27 home runs. He's got 77 ribbies, .433 on base percentage, and a 1.021 OPS. Now, I understand Judge's .450 on base percentage because he hits so many home runs. You just don't want to pitch to him. Soto really, really earns his walks, right? He's not a guy that, people are just scared to pitch to because he's going to hit home runs. He's a good hitter, and he takes close pitches. And right now he has got 90 walks on the season. You see almost every year, 100-plus walks. I mean, the COVID year, obviously not, but 108 walks in 2019. He had 99 walks as a rookie, as a 19-year-old in 2018. And then 145 walks in 2021, 135 walks in 2022, 132 walks in 2023, and now 90 walks already this year with 50 games left. I think it's a shoo-in. He's going to have about 120. So maybe. We'll see. And Jordan Goat says Martian should be leadoff. I mean, if he replaces Verdugo, which I don't think he will, the Yankees actually had some people call about Verdugo at the trade deadline, and they opted to hang on to him. But let's say Verdugo, goes on the IL or whatever, and you call up the Martian. I could see him hitting leadoff. I could see him hitting fourth, but I could see him hitting leadoff too. And I think he'd be great in the leadoff spot because you can just pencil him in there every day. You don't have to worry about righty-lefty because he's a switch hitter. And Jade Emperor Tales also agrees. Martian is the leadoff. I think it would work. I want to take a look at what he's doing so far in the minor leagues here. Let's just pull that up for just a second. Hang on just a second. And we will get the stats on the screen. So he's obviously struggled a little bit since he's come back from his injury, hitting .324. And if you look at the game logs, he had a hit in his first game, but I think he's had a little bit of a slump since then. So he went 0 for 4 yesterday. Day before that, our game before that was 2 days before that. He went 1 for 3, 0 for 2, 1 for 5, 1 for 4. So obviously not a ton of at-bats. They're still easing him in. The fact that he's getting 4 at-bats now means that they're playing him the entire game, and hopefully that means that the oblique is nice and healed up. Those can be tricky. They can be re-injured. But I think we're going to see him, hopefully as he hits mid-season form here, I think they're going to watch all his exit velocities and stuff. And if he gets back to that point where he was last year, where almost every time he makes contact, it's 105, 106 miles an hour, line drive somewhere, home runs every other game. Once he starts doing that at AAA, you're not going to be able to keep him down there. I mean, especially if you got a guy hitting 220 in the major leagues or 230 or whatever Verdugo's hitting right now. So, all right, let's get some final thoughts here. Frankie Baseball says, when was the last time teammates were top 3 in MVP? That's a really good question. I don't know. I would think it would have to be one of those really good teams, like the, let's see, maybe the Indians in the 90s with like Tomey and Bell would be my guess, something like that. Maybe Manny and Ortiz. That's a really good question. I would love to see somebody look that up. I'll put it on the screen. Vincent Washington says, Aaron Judge had a 1.106 OPS in the month of July. It lowered his OPS on the year. Wow, that's a great stat. That is a great stat. So I don't see anybody with those numbers. Donnie and Winfield, 1 and 2 for the batting title. That was in the 80s. I believe that was 1984. But yeah, I don't know if there was never a 1 and 2 in the MVP voting in recent years. It'd be interesting to see what the MVP voting was for Mantle and Maris in 61 if they were 1 and 2. You would think they were. Cameron Kastner puts up his ideal lineup. Dominguez in center field, leading off. Soto in left field. Judge in right field. I like Judge in right field better too, but I think they would put Judge in left. Wells in the cleanup spot at catcher. Stanton at DH. Chisholm at third base. Torres at second base. Rice at first base. And Volpe hitting ninth at shortstop. Put that up one more time. That's a damn good lineup. I'd be very comfortable going into the postseason with that lineup, wouldn't you? That's a wicked lineup. I mean, just Dominguez in there instead of Verdugo just adds so much more balance. A switch hitter, contact, and power and speed. Hell, it's tough to say no to that. But we'll see how it shakes out over the next 50 games or so. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back after tomorrow's game. Yankees will complete the 3-game set versus the Blue Jays. And we might have some interesting announcements coming up here pretty soon. So stay tuned. Got lots of fun stuff happening behind the scenes. And we'll see you next time.
Ball game over.